We have always heard about adoption, but we have never paused to understand its meaning. What is adoption? It is a legal institution that allows for the formation of a civil filiation, not by blood ties, but by a legal relationship. Law 184 of May 4, 1983 regulates adoptions in Italy. It states that only couples who have been married for at least 3 years may adopt a child, and that a child who is not recognized at birth or who is in a situation of deprivation of moral and material assistance may be declared adoptable, provided that this lack of assistance is not caused by circumstances of a transitory nature. Adoption is a historical practice documented as far back as 2000 BC in the Code of Hammurabi. Originally, it had patrimonial purposes. The example of Octavian's adoptions as Caesar's son provides insight into how widespread this practice was even among the elites of ancient Rome. Even in Athens, it was regulated by the Code of Gortina to preserve family unity. Over time, adoption has undergone significant legal and cultural variations. In the 19th century, Napoleon banned it, fearing it might threaten the integrity of legitimate families. Napoleon's system was introduced in Italy in 1865 by Victor Emmanuel II and remained in effect until 1942, when the enactment of the Civil Code introduced the possibility of adopting minors under the age of 18. Major cultural change came only in 1967, with the introduction of the Special Adoption Law, which oriented adoption toward younger couples, preferably with children, involving social services. In this way, behind the meaning of adoption, there is no longer a family that asks for a child, but a family that offers its willingness to welcome an abandoned child. Adopting is not easy, and you also need to take into account the formal requirements that a couple must meet in order to initiate the adoption process, such as be married for at least 3 years at the time the declaration of availability is submitted, not having separation proceeding, and the minimum difference between adopter and adoptee of 18 years and a maximum of 45 years. In the procedure, not only the age and marital status of the parents are considered, but also the state of health, economic requirements, legal eligibility, psychological and social evaluation, education, and the reasons that lead a couple to embark on this path. Returning to adoptions, a relevant role is played by the Commission for Inter-Country Adoption, an Italian body established in May 2000 in accordance with the 1993 Hague Convention on Protection of Children and Cooperation in the Respect of Inter-Country Adoption, which requires the establishment of a central unit dedicated to the implementation of the established agreements, with the aim of ensuring respect for the rights of the children involved. Despite this, cases of inter-country adoption in which ethics take a back seat are still too frequent. The total value of illegal adoptions amounts to about 1.3 billion a year, and two sad recent examples involve Denmark and Armenia. Legal translators play a role of great importance in international adoption practices. This figure is a real intermediary between the parents and the adoptee. Legal translators are experts with certified experience and registration with the Chamber of Commerce in their province. Therefore, choosing a translator in the context of adoption is a delicate decision, and you must rely exclusively on experts from authorized agencies. The translator solemnly declares to the court that they have faithfully translated the document, taking responsibility for their work. This oath is called asseveration, followed by apostillization at the public prosecutor's office or prefecture, but only if the issuing country has acceded to the Hague Convention. Another key figure whose job is to facilitate the adopted child's access to basic services, such as healthcare and education, is the community interpreter. Community interpreting is a subcategory of dialogical interpreting. The interpreter takes part in the acquaintance phase between parents and child in their country of origin, representing an important point of reference in this very delicate step, which concerns the first meetings and the first moments experienced as a family. This aspect was equally emphasized by Piero and Lucia, a couple who experienced firsthand this journey through an international adoption of 2 children in Peru. What's equally important is the assistance of a community interpreter even upon a return to Italy, in order to avoid misunderstandings and to convey to the child the feelings and the will to understand them. Despite being a key figure in the adoption process, the community interpreter is not regulated. There are still very few authorized agencies offering this service, and the literature on the subject is also very scarce. At the end of the study, some conclusions regarding the broad topic of adoption and the work done by language mediators can be drawn. Adoption, an integral part of a global project reflecting social development and the recognition of human rights, presents a number of complex cultural, technical, social and value-based facets, because adoption is a beautiful journey, but not without obstacles.